everybody. Welcome. Hit it. What's the name of the show, Iffy?
Yo, you know what the show is. Get ready for Ready to Ramble! Pow! What it do? As you can see, it's just a 2-for episode today. Real chill episode. We're going to break down the pay-per-view. We're going to go down the list.
Backlash.
I'm going to be all real with you. I did not watch Backlash. My sister graduated this weekend, so I was blocked from any pay-per-view stuff. So
fuck your family, boy. You got wrestling to watch. 18 hours a week. We got to dedicate.
But we're going to get down to it. We'll get down to it.
I'll be real. I watched it last night. I was in Nebraska. Did not have access, so I watched it last night.
Sometimes
fast-forwarded quite a bit.
Even when you have the WWE Network for $9.99, if you're out of state, sometimes it's hard to get it down.
It don't matter. But you know what? I want to pimp. We both have cool shirts.
Ooh.
We got both cool. I got this. Check this out. Space Mountain. You're gonna ride Space Mountain. Ric Flair. Woo!
I just got my Kung Fu Kitty shirt.
How do you like that?
Be humble.
Kendrick.
Sit down. Be humble. Okay, I'm gonna sit down. All right. Yes. So it's a great week. Thank you, Uber. She is a official grad because someone in the family had to go to college.
Yeah. How drunk am I right now? Not drunk at all. I'm drunk off of my love of wrestling.
Yeah. And lots of fun changes to be announced next week.
Yes. So tune in next week. We got some announcements, y'all.
But yeah, Sarah not here.
Not here
she had important other obligations. I don't know why I couldn't think of obligations. But we're gonna go down this list. We're gonna see who's the new title holder because technically I honestly don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
So let's just go down the list and Cam's gonna fill me in. This is gonna be fun because Cam's gonna fill me in.
So the first match, not of the night, but on our board. Guys, we're going by our board. And if you don't know what our board is, you go to the Ready to Ramble. We have a Twitter account. It's Ready to Ramble Go, I believe it's the Twitter account.
For Hyper RPG.
Yeah, for Hyper Go. Go follow that, y'all, and we're going to be able to break this down. Now, also, I think there was a match or two that was announced day of the show that we didn't have. Oh, my God. It is getting sloppy. There was a match or two, which is common for the pay-per-views. We don't have any predictions for because, y'all, we didn't know those matches were happening.
Yeah.
So let us see. Our first match, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles. So Sarah went Kevin Owens. Me and Iffy went AJ Styles. Kevin Owens won. He retained. I did not think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I truly thought they were going to give it to AJ, but you know what? Here's the thing that works. Oh, we just lost the screen momentarily. We're going to bring that back up.
Yeah. And also, if we could get a paper towel.
Yeah. If he's spilling juice, what do you got? Just straight up water, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Owens, AJ, I truly thought they were going to give it to AJ.
Yeah.
But hell of a match and a really a good little long match, which definitely is setting up, and to some, maybe the match of the night. I might agree with that. Might be setting up a multi-pay-per-view feud.
With AJ Styles and Kevin Owens?
Yeah.
I think that's a very smart move. I feel like they both, first off and foremost, we're finally getting these two people a feud.
Worth having.
Well, I mean,
also
a feud. Well, not a feud worth having, but more so
KO,
a feud.
KO Jericho was
good. A stable
good.
feud is what I meant to say. Because when KO was feuding with Jericho and when AJ was feuding with Jericho, that was kind of like what's going to happen because we knew Jericho would leave eventually. Now we get this nice stable feud between these two that we know it will probably go on for multiple pay-per-views because
So Sarah had that one. Next up was the championship. We decided to jump right into this, guys. Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton, to the shock and dismay to many white men in the crowd. There's some amazing gifs out there of men reacting angry, shocked. There's some children just so sad. There's gifts for days at Jinder Mahal winning the championship.
Yeah.
You and I both said it'd be great if Jinder won. We both went with Orton because we thought like the AJ Kevin Owens, this would be a multi-month feud.
Yeah.
That Orton would win this one, and maybe Jinder pulls it out the next match.
But you know, when you heard us bring this up, we weren't just going to talk about that. You know, the one thing we're going to talk about in this match
is the death of one of the Singh brothers.
Yeah,
and the
complete
kayfabe breaker
murder,
response.
the complete murder of this man. This is straight up. And I don't mind if this gets us, the video YouTube taken down because one is just the two of us, but two, this is too good to miss.
I think this might be
This is
before.
too early.
It's too early.
It's too early. We were wrong. We were wrong. We're way too early.
It's not this.
No.
Not that. You know what?
You do the work.
I'm a Google.
Click.
So, for those of you who don't know who maybe didn't watch, Jinder, one of the Singh brothers, I feel bad, I can't remember which one, because they're both wearing the same colored shirt.
Yeah.
So all you see was Randy.
Not because they're both.
Not because of race. It's just because of shirt. Orton, I'm just going to literally, Orton kills Singh brother.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Found it. Orton almost kills the guy. Feels kind of bad about it. There it is.
Boy, oh boy.
Let's watch this table spot, y'all. Let us soak in this table spot. Now, I don't think we can make it as full screen as we want.
I can get pretty close to it. There it is.
Y'all, you're about to watch a man die. Oh my God. And watch Randy Orton's face. Breaks character.
Let's just stop it right.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
Like, it's just... Ooh. I just want to play by play where it's like, okay, it looks like, as you can see, this is going to be where we get a little smarky. You see that one of the Singh brothers has his arm wrapped around Randy Orton's head.
Right.
He's secure.
He's secure.
He has it. They're good for it. They're probably communicating right now. Now it goes up. Anything can happen right here.
And it does. He pushed him a little too hard. That Singh brother, a little too skinny, a little too thin for big old Randy.
And his head hits that end of the table, which I'm sure he was probably supposed to land on his back. But that is not what happened.
Oh, my. So what a moment.
Yeah.
What a moment.
Yeah.
That ended up being such a big moment. That kind of became the thing everyone talked about in the match, except rather than the shock of Jinder Mahal winning everyone else's face.
Well, because technically, in all honesty, that's probably more interesting than Jinder Mahal's character, that whole event.
Yeah, Jinder, did he break his neck? No, alive as far as we know. SmackDown's airing right now for us, so we'll talk about it a little more next week.
As far as we know, he's alive. As far as we know, there hasn't been a memorial.
Oh, amazingly no concussion. Well, here's the funny thing, and you might be able to speak to this too. What's always funny is like when injuries happen in wrestling, it's always the thing that looks like they didn't get hurt at all, and that's when it's like
100%.
he's out for 6 months. Look at what happens. We're playing in slow mo. The stuff that looks like, oh, that man is dead. How many times has Big E landed on his head doing a suicide dive?
Yeah.
And totally fine the next day.
I know. And then they get up and they're like, oh, okay.
But yeah, so what a match. And so right now, Sarah is 2 for 2 between the Singh brothers.
Yeah, we are getting creamed.
But next up, Breezango versus the Usos.
All right, let me get
Sarah, this is when we started talking about the secret. Sarah was like, I want it to be Breezango. I want it to be them. You and me, we were going with the Usos. Who knew also this was going to be an entertaining as it was match? Everyone's in costumes. Everyone's being wacky. It was insane. But the Usos pulled it out.
Yeah.
The Usos defeated Breezango, but via pinfall and wacky costume hijinks from Breezango. Again, will this continue to be a feud? I don't know, because Breezango was so entertaining as a team, and the mop stuff and everything. I could easily see maybe WWE originally thinking of this as like we're done, and maybe now continuing it as a feud, and keeping it going because it was very strong. Which means American Alpha, you have to wait another month.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I like Calendros says the mop stuff was amazing. What's this mop stuff? You remember, you're filling me in. I missed it.
Yeah, so like we said, Breezango, those guys came in costumes as janitors and used the mops to their advantage. Let me see if I can find something. I'm already on Google. Why am I typing in Google.com like a goof? There's got to be something.
Go to images. There it is.
Yep. So you're seeing some classic stuff.
The The old mop to the face bit.
Yep, and Tyler Breeze is a character, which honestly, I mean, good for Tyler Breeze and the fact that he's now on the main card doing main card matches, and not so much just, oh, you're in the pre-show. We don't know. You'll do a bit. You get sunburned. I don't know. We don't know what to do with you. By making him more comedic. This was a lot of fun. Looks like the feud ended on SmackDown.
Yeah. Marvel pays me with the breaking news. Feud ended on SmackDown tonight. New Day will be back next week probably. Breezango was the placeholder for them. What happened to New Day? Fill everyone in.
Well, the recent thing that happened with the New Day. I mean, yeah, because New Day. This would be SmackDown tonight. I mean, the last thing I remember happening with New Day was they moved to SmackDown, but Kofi was injured. I don't know if he was actually injured or kayfabe injured after WrestleMania, and I haven't seen too much of the New Day since then. Yeah, one of the New Day's guys was hurt was Kofi. So I think that's mostly what's been happening. But yeah, I guess maybe Kofi's cleared now. Was it a real injury, or I can't remember if it was a real injury or like a kayfabe injury because he wanted to take time off because New Day's been so hot the last 2 years. Yeah. He's like, I'm almost 40. I want to hang out with my family.
Yeah.
I got a lot of kids.
I haven't seen my kids.
Kofi was actually injured. Okay.
Wow. Probably one of those indie shows. He was doing an appearance. You know, Kofi got to make that money.
Yeah, Kofi got to make that money. But yeah, Usos pulled off that one, and then we had the 3-way women's tag match, which was. What were the names? I don't remember the names of the team. Welcoming Committee.
Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Charlotte Flair.
So me and Sarah said it was going to be Becky, Charlotte, and Naomi. You said Welcoming Committee. Welcoming Committee pulled it out.
Boom.
And they pulled it out with Natty making Charlotte. Forced Becky. She forced Becky to tap. I thought it was Charlotte. My bad. She forced Becky to tap. So you're keeping Charlotte strong, and I think that's why I thought they were going to win. Is I'm like, Charlotte's on the team. They want to make Charlotte look good. They're turning Charlotte face. It makes sense to have. I thought Charlotte was going to be the one to win it, and instead they made it Natalya through Becky. So and I feel a little bad for Becky because like Becky was like the hottest one on SmackDown. Now Charlotte's over there, and they're like, oh, you're on a team with her. I don't know what to do with you. Yeah. But I mean, we talked about that. That's always the issues with the women's division, as great as it is that they are just like. We have the 2 women we like, or here's the person that's the champ right now. What do you do with the rest of the division on that show? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So that's kind of where we are. Take your most over babyface and make her tap. Yeah, it's hopefully Becky will come back around because she's great. She's got a great personality. She connects with the fans, like legitimately connects with the fans in that Daniel Bryan kind of way. It's like she's a very sunny babyface, but the fans love her. Mm-hmm. She could be much bigger than she is, and they kind of just. They gave her the belt. She was the first SmackDown Women's Champion, but since then they just kind of were like,
I just feel like, it's one of those things that I feel like I sound like a broken record when I say, but there's just not enough spots not enough matches for women for her to do it. Because right now they're, focusing on Bayley and all that. I'm talking about the wrong show, am I?
You're talking about Raw.
Yeah.
But on SmackDown, because now they moved Charlotte over there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Charlotte next. I should have just said it because now people are going to think I'm lying. People are going to be like, "There's no way if he was going to say Charlotte."
No, but you're not wrong.
But I was.
Prior to Charlotte moving over there, the main focus was Nikki Bella on SmackDown.
Whatever.
And then Alexa Bliss.
Look, all these mix-ups and drafts. It's hard to keep track.
It's too much wrestling. It's 18 hours. It's a lot of wrestling.
But it's just one of those things where it's so, like, I think they are very much aware about Becky and how great she is, but they're like, we're too busy doing this push. But now we move on to this other one that I lost.
And then we got Shinsuke versus Ziggler, which I really enjoyed this match. It wasn't as good as the. Here's the thing, man. If AJ Styles is on the card, no match is going to be as good as an AJ Styles match. Even a Nakamura match. And I love Nakamura, but AJ Styles is the man. But Nakamura won it. Me and Sarah got that one right. You went with Ziggler.
Yeah.
Because I love Ziggler. But I thought that they had to give it to Nakamura because it was his first pay-per-view. Unless he won in a schmozzy or lost in a schmozzy kind of way, I really thought like they got to give it to Nakamura. Because I think to me, if Nakamura had lost, that to me was telling me WWE main roster was like, we don't know what to do with this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a goof. So thankfully, Nakamura won.
Yeah.
And I believe it was Kevin Dunn or some. I read recently on WrestleZone, someone high up was saying they see Nakamura as possibly the next Cena. Which, that's crazy if that's true. Which, not crazy and like, that's stupid, But that's crazy that the company would get that behind him if they believe that to be true.
Yeah.
Nakamura's great. Love Ziggler, but I was happy Nakamura won. And we had Corbin versus Zayn. We all went Corbin, and Sami Zayn won.
I should have went Zayn. My heart said Zayn. But I went Corbin because I feel like you wouldn't put him against someone that big if you weren't going to make him win. Because I don't know. Anyway, look, the underdog from the underground.
Yep. They do not know what to do with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, well, I was just saying about Nakamura. Sami Zayn, remember how hot Sami Zayn was in NXT?
Mm-hmm.
Between his feuds with Kevin Owens and Cesaro, Sami Zayn was the guy who was being tapped to be like the next Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn was like, oh, he's such a great babyface. He's so over. This is our next Daniel Bryan. No issues. No issues. This is our next Daniel Bryan. At least that's how we, the fans, felt. But yeah, they have not done much with him. So I don't know. Maybe this is them giving Sami Zayn saying, actually, we are going to get behind you. Corbin's not my guy. I'm not a big Corbin fan. I find him kind of dull. Yeah. It's hard for me to get excited about Corbin matches. It just doesn't happen. And this also wasn't exactly a feud I was feeling. So not terribly shocking that Zayn, good for Zayn. We all were wrong on that, but I don't know. I don't really care. So where are we at right now? We're at the last match. Who's currently the champ?
Here's the thing.
Oh boy.
Sarah's the champ right now.
Right now.
And will be the champ because the last match was supposed to be the tiebreaker.
Yes.
But since she's in the lead, we don't need a tiebreaker.
Oh, no.
But the last match was the Ty Dillinger match in which
Aiden English, Ty Dillinger is the kickoff show. Aiden English getting a good pop.
Yeah, Ty Dillinger won, and I went for Dillinger. So it would have tied it.
And I went for Dillinger as well.
Yeah.
She went for Aiden.
So it would have we would both tie with her if we won the tiebreaker. But since if we went to tiebreaker, we would have won. Either way, the belt has been finally taken from me. Handed over to Sarah, and unable to present herself with a belt is the rebel herself, Sarah. So just imagine she's off.
Could just pull a Triple H and be like, they're injured, so we're taking the belt. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, that was a good Triple H. Oh my God!
It's all about the game,
Yeah, there's a new champ in town.
You know, Sarah.
That's good and all that you got that win, but
no one cares.
I know. And it's so funny because Sarah was down on herself for not getting those wins. Like she really
way harder than the rest of us would have.
Yeah, she didn't want to do this next one. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose anyway."
This Luke Harper Eric Rowan match, we did not make a prediction on. Am I wrong in thinking that this was a match that was set up day of the show? Because this was not. This was not on WWE.com or any of the things that we usually go to be like, oh, let's remind ourselves what's coming up on the pay-per-view this Sunday. We don't want to forget anything. Did not see this match. Did not see Luke Harper, Eric Rowan on the card. So was this put up someone maybe on the WWE? Because that was the thing. We had that a couple months ago where we had Jinder and Rusev. Suddenly we're putting a match day of the show on the WWE Network on a pre-show. Was this a pre-show situation? Because I didn't watch the pre-show when I watched this pay-per-view last night. So if anyone knows, let me know. Because I don't understand. No, Rowan asked for a match on one of the segments. Ooh, that could have been our tiebreaker. I'll be honest, I fast-forwarded through a lot of this pay-per-view. I just kind of... That's the upside of having the WWE Network. You fast-forward a lot of the shit you don't want to watch. Yeah. You're like, oh, what's this match?
Bye.
Talking smack last Tuesday after SmackDown. There you go. Yep, didn't know. But we're going to talk about what's happening on tonight's SmackDown next week because this is the fallout of the pay-per-view, and we're going to want to talk about it, y'all. We're going to want to talk about it. But we did have Monday Night Raw last night. Did you get to catch any of Raw by chance?
No, it's been my family's in town. I haven't done any nerd stuff.
I don't think there's any issues with that. Raw was
was it a snooze fest?
Bit of a snooze fest, except for we did get Balor in the ring. But Finn Balor.
In the ring. We did
get Balor on the mic against Paul Heyman. Because Paul, and of all the people, like there's the 5-6 people going up to try and take down Brock. And in a couple months. And the fact that they put him up against, you were there live, Paladin. That's awesome. What is it? Let me ask Paladin, what is it like to go to a SmackDown Live? Because now you have SmackDown, you have Talking Smack, and 205 Live happening all at that one show. Is it exhausting? Because I haven't been, and I'm truly curious. Like, is that just an exhausting Tuesday night by the time you're done? Are you out of there being like, oh, and don't worry, we're going to talk about NXT because TakeOver was amazing. But I want to touch on Raw, and then we'll go back down. But yeah, Finn Balor, Paul Heyman in the ring. I thought it was great. I love that Finn Balor is somebody who, he's in that era of just scripted promos, do it scripted, this, that, and the other. And he flubs his lines, but he plays it off very well. And that's what I like about Finn. Whereas we did have Kalisto doing some script reading, and it came off. And with Apollo Crews, and y'all, that came off clumsy, not very smooth. Whereas Finn may be messing up his lines, but he's like, what are you going to do? And you're just like, I like him. I like him a lot. We also have an Enzo Amore. Enzo was attacked in the back. Did not see who did it.
Oh,
now the question
is afoot.
The question is, you went to Backlash Live. Oh, well, that must have still been cool. But yeah, if anyone's ever been to SmackDown Live now, in the era of 205 Live and Talking Smack, where they have, what's that like? Is it just the most exhausting thing in the world? Please tell me. Someone tell me. But we had Enzo was attacked. You think it was Marvel? Do you think it was the Revival? Because some people are saying right now, what if it's Big Cass?
Ooh.
What if they are breaking up Enzo and Big Cass, and it was Big Cass? And that'd be interesting because I feel like McMahon is big on those tall men. And there's a gif of them walking in the background of some interview backstage. Yeah, that's true. There is that gif. So it might be the Revival, but I would love it if it was Big Cass, and that'd be surprising because we know how much McMahon loves his tall guys. And Big Cass is huge, and if they decided to make him a heel, that'd be fascinating. Because you would think they'd want to make him a face. Yeah. Like a hot, tall baby face.
Oh, yeah. But, that being said, once
Impact tapings, 87 weeks worth of
I feel like we've had Andre the Giant.
True. But that's usually their baby faces that then turn.
Yeah. Andre the Giant, you had your Mark Henry, and then we had
Rikishi who did it for the Rock.
Yeah.
That's a great call. I did it for you, Rock. Oh my God.
And then we also had Big Show. So in Big Show, he's getting on those final years, so we do need a new super big.
That's true. We
need a new super big. Yeah, new giant.
Oh, they should give it to Rusev. But he's on SmackDown Live now.
But Rusev's kind of short.
That's true, he is.
Like, we need a giant, like a big boy, like, towers over people. Because that's always the best spots, is when you see them get in someone's face and just dwarf them.
Isn't Enzo and Big Cass break up too soon? I don't think so, because if you count their NXT time, and now they've been on the main roster for a year plus, frankly, I'm surprised they haven't broken up the New Day, which is, because their sales are so hot. But they usually, a tag team that hot for like 2-3 years, they usually have somebody.
Yeah, and I feel like it's because they wouldn't know what to do with everyone, because they tried Kofi. Kofi didn't get anywhere. I don't know if they...
Big E was kind of the consistent Intercontinental champion.
Yeah,
yep.
Big E. But
Thank you for subscribing. We got a subscriber.
Ooh, what's up, debugging fool? Spent that $4.99 all the time for 3 months in a row. Thank you, baby. I'm a body slam you right into my heart.
Through a table.
Through a table.
And then make a ooh face. Killed him.
But yeah, I just feel like no one would know what to do with it. Like,
I agree.
I can't look. I love Austin. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But I can't see Xavier Woods by himself. Like, I don't, because to be honest, TJ Perkins already stole his angle. like
he really did.
The angle that I would want to see Xavier Woods do, TJ Perkins has already done it. I don't think he's kind of doing that anymore.
No, and Walmart Slayer says Kofi held the U.S. title and tag titles before the New Day. He totally did. But I think there was like 2 years prior to the New Day where Kofi felt like a guy where all anyone cared about was what he was going to do at the Rumble. Yeah. And other than that was like the consistent, there's some kind of intercontinental thing, King of the Ring style, who's going to win this title? We'll put him in the first match. He'll lose to whoever we're trying to boost up and stuff like that. I thought Kofi got buried because of the thing with Randy Orton. If you don't know about this, you don't know about that? The Randy Orton, stupid.
Oh, yeah, like he messed up a spot, right?
Yeah, from back in the day. And Randy broke kayfabe and just in the middle of the ring yelling at Kofi, stupid. Loud. So if you want to go check that out, just Google Randy Orton yells at Kofi Kingston.
And that's why Kofi is a professional, because I think when I saw it, I was like, Kofi should have faded his ass right there.
That would have been amazing.
Because right now, like, you mean you're in the middle of a match? I could make that look kayfabe when I knock you the fuck out. You know, like, Randy is just a trash person, and he used to be my favorite wrestler.
Ugh, yeah, he's. If you missed last week's show, go see last week's show. Talk about Randy Orton and all of his beliefs, his Twitter account, and then the hope that maybe he retweets stuff without truly reading it, but I don't think we're that lucky.
Yeah, True Zarkos, I'm telling you, if he had that original gamer TJ Perkins, it would just meld so perfectly. His spots, he would just be able to talk about up, down.
Yep.
And I feel like it was kind of wasted on TJ Perkins, because I feel like they really didn't do, because is TJ Perkins kind of doing that bit, or is he kind of just the crony now?
Yeah. Yeah, TJ Perkins at this point is just Neville's second.
And so he's not doing the gaming thing. But
doesn't seem to be doing the gaming thing.
But
no.
anything that would lead into a very organic feud is if, you know, Xavier did this like TJ Perkins-esque thing, and then they're like, who's the real gamer? But
the problem is, though, is I love the Austin Aries Neville stuff they've been doing the last couple of months, but really they treat the cruiserweights like it's not just a B show, it's a C show. Even though it's on Raw, it truly is treated like it's its own weird thing.
Yeah,
and I think that hurts that division. I think it is the thing, and like Jericho's been on podcasts now that he's no longer there, talking about like, oh yeah, they need to integrate it, and I think everyone feels like they need to integrate it. Like that way, a Kalisto versus Braun Strowman match doesn't feel like the dumbest thing in the world if you have all the cruiserweights involved in the main things. Like I would love to see like one of the coolest moments from the last couple of years was when Rollins had the belt and Rollins was like, I'll face anybody as long as they're this tall. And then Neville's music hit. And it was a great match. But it was one of those things where you're like, oh, killer. Because the whole thing was he was making fun of Kalisto. Poor Kalisto, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You finally get in the WWE, you're like, my dreams have come true. And all you are is consistently the joke wrestler.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you suck.
And also, like, based on 205 Live success and all that, I feel like we talked about this earlier today in a different facet, but if you want a show like 205 Live to be successful, you have to let it integrate with your more popular properties. If you start a new property, in order to get that property to gain momentum, you have to get fresh eyes on it. Like your hardcore markety marks are gonna check out 205 Live.
Someone was
but your
saying
general
they should put Balor on 205 Live.
Ooh.
And you would get people watch, and not like that's the only place he is, but have Balor start appearing on 205 Live. Have Daniel Bryan be the commissioner of 205 Live.
Ooh.
Do these little things that make people go, oh, I need to see this show. Like if it's like, where was Balor on Raw this week? He couldn't make it. He had to defend the Cruiserweight title on 205. And you're like, whoa. Yeah. Is he going to face Braun Sunday? Yes. You know what I mean? And that kind of like that was always my favorite era. And not just the Attitude Era, because the Attitude Era was fun, but also the Attitude Era was like, you watched Raw and you had to see SmackDown because you were going to see the Austin Rock feud compete on SmackDown, and then Sunday Night Heat because that led into the pay-per-view. Yeah. Sunday Night Heat was not just a pre-show. You would see stuff happening. They would have major matches or championships turn over. I remember once a championship turned over in a Sunday Night Heat show that led into a pay-per-view where those two people were supposed to fight anyway. Yeah. So it became like, earlier tonight, Mick Foley already won the title from Triple H. Can he continue to win the title tonight? And he'd be like, oh, and it felt like you had to watch everything. You had to watch everything. And now there's just so much that you just don't feel like if someone were to tell me like this is what happened on 205 Live, I'd be like, oh, cool. How is that going to affect SmackDown or Raw or any of the pay-per-views? If people go, it won't.
Yeah, to be honest, I keep forgetting about that spill. To be honest, like I am consistently just going into my spill. Back on point. To be honest, that's it. Like, if someone wanted to, they can just watch one property. You can have someone just be a fan of SmackDown, and they'll only watch the SmackDown pay-per-views, and they'd be just fine. It would not affect their life at all.
No.
And same thing with Raw, and I think that's the problem. But I get why they did it, but it's just one of the risks you have to take. Yeah, you are afraid of getting people, just kind of burnt out on wrestling because they feel they have to watch everything.
Yes.
The way you do that is not by just not doing it at all. You just don't do it as much. You make great, but the fact that we know for a fact nothing's going to happen where we have to pay attention to both properties,
Yes.
no one's going to rush to see it. But if in a surprise you do a freaking, that's why I felt weird about both channels having their own belt.
Yes,
because
agree. Remember that we talked about it when they were going to do the brand split. There was discussion about you should just have, who at the time it was Roman Reigns and Charlotte, have the champions go on both shows, and they have to go through different feuds and different guys and different gals on. And I was like, oh, that'd be killer. They didn't do it, but that would have been pretty killer.
Oh yeah. If you have the belt, you have to do both shows, and that's also the gift and curse of being the champion.
And the potential interesting storylines if on Raw, Reigns is feuding with Rollins, but he's also feuding with Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. So you have a limousine pull up, and it's it's Ambrose. He's not supposed to be here. He's supposed to be on SmackDown, and he jumps Roman Reigns because he's got the pay-per-view coming up Sunday, not Rollins. So you got you could do interesting storylines, but it doesn't happen. So therefore, you then have the weird thing of you have Brock, who's the Raw champion, who hasn't been there for months. So it doesn't feel like there's really anything. So the main thing about Raw, it was kind of a bore because it feels like it's just running in circles. You have the thing where it's Reigns is gonna shit on Bray, and then this person's gonna shit on this Rollins. Rollins is gonna have a feud with this person, and then Kurt Angle comes out and goes, "We're gonna have a tag team match, and you're gonna team up, and that's gonna be it." And you're just how does that move anyone's storyline forward? Yeah. So that doesn't work. Sasha Banks is in a weird feud with Alicia Fox, and I like both of them, but I don't know what this feud is. I don't know.
I'm confused.
What is going on? What is happening? What it's about? So I don't know. It's very strange. Raw, for the most part, was just kind of it was very one of those Raws where I felt like I was leaning on the fast forward button quite a bit. Which is too bad. I never want to do that with Raw, but it does feel like it's kind of holding place till Brock Lesnar shows up. Yeah. Which that's why the Finn Balor Heyman thing was great, because it's Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman is amazing consistently.
Also, what is Brock Lesnar doing? My man's is not fighting in the UFC fights. So where are you? What are you doing, my dude?
He's on a farm.
I mean, I know he's he had that health problem in the past. Maybe that's an issue where.
Well, I think it comes down to money. I mean, here's the thing: the first time he was the champ, he wasn't around as much, but that felt for lack of a better, that made it feel like when he did fight, it was big match style. But that's also because at the time he was feuding with Cena and guys like that, so you felt like, oh, here are the big dogs on campus. Whereas now, and I love Balor, I love Rollins, I love all those guys, but having it be because you portrayed Rollins at that time as a Weasley character, so when you had the triple threat of Rollins, Cena, and Brock Lesnar, you were he's going to kill Rollins and suplex Cena to hell. Whereas now it does feel like who's the big dog on campus, and it's Roman Reigns, and we're kind of well, we've seen that. Yeah. So Brock not being absent now, it feels wrong. It feels like you should have him there as the champ, as opposed to 3 years ago when he was the champ and not there because you had Cena and other people chasing for him.
Yeah.
So someone was saying, any chance of Finn Balor becoming a Paul Heyman guy? That'd be interesting because except for CM Punk, anyone who's become a Paul Heyman guy that was not Lesnar just didn't work. Yeah. God love Ryback and Curtis Axel. It didn't click. Cesaro didn't click. Heyman, there's almost a weird degree where it's to click with Paul Heyman, you need to have known him for 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with Punk and Brock.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. So let's talk about NXT.
Well,
NXT,
before we get there, I want to answer Tavix's question. Speaking of cross-promotion, this question carried on from Krillinit. Iffy, what do you think about Jeff Hardy as Future Trunks? Young Jeff Hardy, I'm on board. Jeff Hardy now, bruh. You're a little too old.
Tooth?
Yeah. You're a little too old for my boy.
Matt Hardy in a very entertaining match. I love the Hardys being back. The Hardys are they are so good in the ring, and their matches are so sweet and they feel so hard hitting that frankly and that's was great about the Attitude Era for the most part. Attitude Era was not 100% perfect all the time, but even if the feud wasn't the most amazing thing, the matches felt hot. and that's something the Hardys still are able to do. That even if they were in a feud that was like stagnant, the matches would feel like every match is like a big match. It feels like a big match because those guys are great and they really bring it. And I think that feels a little bit what's missing from Raw now is like Roman Reigns gonna be in a tag match and this with Bray and Seth and Samoa Joe. How's the match gonna be? It's fine. It's all right. No one did anything, and these guys, you don't want them to break their bodies on something that's not a pay-per-view or a Mania, and I get that. But the Hardys, man, they bring it. They're entertaining as hell.
That's what I want to say is that the Hardys have just more heart. You could tell like they are happy to be back. They want to be a part of the company, which is
and they're trying to get the Bucks in real bad.
And speaking of Brock, you could see that's the main difference between the two, where Brock just shows up and picks up his paycheck, where you see like these two guys who you could just tell that their body shouldn't be taking this beating anymore, but they just make everyone look like a superstar, and that's the type of wrestler you like to watch. I feel like everyone's kind of waiting on the broken gimmick, and I think they know it. I think they're just trying to surprise us with it. I think they don't want to reward the Smarkies, waiting for it to happen. I think it's going to happen in a big pay-per-view moment, and we're going to lose our minds.
Yeah, I agree. Very much looking forward to that. So let's talk NXT real quick. 5 matches. It was hot. It was NXT TakeOver Chicago.
Chirac.
Roderick. We had Roderick Strong defeated Eric Young in a singles match, 13 minutes. This is very good. I really enjoyed the whole of NXT. The UK Championship match between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate was so good. That was a hell of a match. This is the thing. This is why I love NXT, and this is why I love the NXT takeovers. Any of these matches, you can see GIFs, you can see people talking about. People are like, oh my god, that match was great. That match was great. That match was great. And it's so great to have like a very simple pay-per-view with just some hot ass matches. And Asuka, still the champ. She's still knocking it out.
Hell yeah. Asuka is my favorite. And also, like, someone mentioned this earlier, and I've actually said this idea at a different time. I don't think it was on air, of Paul Heyman moving on to Asuka, because she has that kind of broken English, but also I think she has this I like the whole Asuka's gonna kill you, Asuka's gonna kill you. Like, she's just almost like this beast, and I feel like we're getting there with Nia Jax.
Yes.
But I think just a fully essentially beast woman, I don't think we've seen that since China.
Oh, I didn't talk about this about 2 weeks ago when Alexa Bliss, bringing up Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss was like in the ring after she beat Bayley for the championship, talking about like, you're this, you're that, to all the women. She goes to Nia Jax, she's like, you're great, and we should be friends. And like, obviously playing it off as a character. And then you cut to Nia Jax in the back being like, did you mean what you said? And this is the scripted stuff we talk about where I'm like, that is so bad. And I feel so bad for Nia Jax because it makes her look so stupid.
Yeah.
And like, Alexa Bliss is playing off like, we should be friends. And Nia's like, okay, but I want that belt eventually. And Alexa's like, sure. And now they're like a pair. And it's one of those things where it's like, you wrote something so bad for somebody who needs a proper push, and you just make their character look like a stupid person.
Well, I feel like that's just the WWE's kind of like go-to with like the big guy getting kind of tagged along with the smaller guy. Like, they always just revert to that like did you meet her? Were you friends? No. I'm making a reference that I just totally blanked.
Mice and Men?
Yes.
George of Mice and
Men.
Men.
You fucking know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like, they revert to that where it's like this small, smarmy, kind of wrestler gets this dumb big guy who's gonna just fight for it. But really, I think
they don't need to do, because the template to this for me is Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash was not stupid. Kevin Nash, despite being tall, was not played as an idiot. Kevin Nash was played like, oh, I'm just as cool as Shawn, and I bag just as many chicks.
Yeah,
I'm just tall as shit. They didn't play Kevin Nash.
Catch me out in Magic Mike. Double XL.
Like, they didn't play Kevin Nash like an idiot. That was always the thing. I don't know. So that was a bummer about not. But I like Nia. Someone said Nia sounds like an idiot. I don't think she sounds like, it's not, she does have a bit of a Valley Girl voice. Her real voice is slightly Valley Girlish. But by all accounts, she's a very decent person. But Paladin, bringing up Asuka, Paladin said he hopes Asuka's as cool, like a decent person in real life. Someone who works at WWE that we both know was telling our past guest Jesse Klein Asuka stories, and by all accounts, Asuka is a very sweet person.
Well,
very
like
nice.
I just saw those old pictures of her being an IT person. I was like, there's no dickish. I mean, there's an exception to every rule, but generally, your IT person usually isn't dickish. They're more so annoyed because you're asking them how to install a thumb drive. You know,
Yes.
but. Like you, so like I knew. I see it in her eyes. Me and Asuka,
Yeah.
we have a connection.
Luke Gallows as Festus. Oh my God.
But
Poor
yeah,
Luke Gallows.
you're right. They don't have to play it as dumb. But yeah, I think that's it. Where it's like that Valley Girl voice. But I think that's somewhere where I think
They just develop the character a little more beyond big girl.
Well, so here's something I want to suggest and maybe bring up. I feel like there's so much. Like assistance in them getting big, getting in shape, staying healthy. I think they should consider bringing in acting coaches. I think they should consider having, because there's no reason someone shouldn't be coaching Nia into talking like a,
Well, our friend Dan Black, who hosts a great wrestling podcast, Comedians of Wrestling, y'all should go check that out on the UCB network. He has talked about he thinks wrestlers should be required to take one improv class.
Oh yeah.
So like if something happens on the mic or they fuck up, they can roll with it.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like we can bully Matt Mazzani into
Matt's our friend who told us Asuka stories.
Well, I was gonna keep that a secret.
Were you about to say he worked at the company?
Yeah, but we know multiple people who worked at the company and
worked or did work. Yeah. Matt's a friend of ours. Matt's a great comedian in LA. Matt, oh God, we should try and. I don't know if we can get Matt on here because now that he works at the company, that might be harder.
I know. I feel like that might be harder, but
if any of you are familiar with Game of Thrones, the Front of Your Die series, Matt was a producer on that.
Yeah, was nominated for an Emmy
nominated for an Emmy and had the hardest decision of his life to either continue Game of Thrones, and that's going to continue, but continue without him and go work at WWE or stay on Game of Thrones. He went to WWE, and by all accounts, talking to him here and there when he's in town. He's got such great stories, but it sounds like it's awesome. And
I feel like if you love wrestling, you love writing. Like you love writing.
Yeah.
Like you don't really care about doing acting stuff.
Yes.
It's the best job you can pick up because I heard the pay's great and you get to write doing what you love. So why not?
But by all accounts, every story about Vince McMahon being a crazy person
has been
accurate. Accurate. But yeah, Asuka, that was a great match. Bobby Roode, Tommy, which I think more people are talking about the ending. It was a very good match, but Tommy going ape at the end and destroying stuff backstage.
Oh, shit.
Classic, like, kind of thing. Yeah. Which I loved. Someone was saying either that he should or they're hearing rumors about him going to 205. That's a great way to do it.
That would be nice.
I was so happy he came back because he was a guy, because he was in a tag thing with Balor.
Yeah.
And then he got injured and was gone for so long that I was like, did he get let go? And they're being quiet about it? Like, and every update I ever saw was like, coming back, still doing rehabilitation. I was like, oh man, I hope he comes back. And so for him to come back and be put right into the championship was great. That means to me that means the company's behind him. Yeah, I love Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is doing great work. Do we think Bobby Roode will click on the main roster? Oh, if you feud him with the right guy, he'll be great.
I feel like if you feel, and I want them to wait. I want them to wait because Bobby Roode, I think for him to be successful needs a full 100% push. Like he doesn't need to be. They shouldn't be pushing.
Yes,
they shouldn't be pushing anyone else. They shouldn't, because I feel like his bit is so big. His angle in his bit is so big that it just needs to be allowed to be big. Like his entry into the main card should be him interrupting someone else's entrance with his glorious.
Someone's on the mic just being like maybe it's Roman Reigns, he's the champ, and he's like, hopefully a heel. I'll challenge anybody back there. You're going to bring him out to the ring right now. I don't care any of the men. I'm the big dog on campus. I'll bring everybody. And then you just hear, lights down, glorious, and then the crowd fucking pops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all I want. But the thing about
even that didn't feel like there for me. Like it has to be perfect because I don't. Because I was thinking about it because I don't think Roman versus Rude I want. Like it needs to be someone.
I'm saying someone who's a champ. Someone who's a champ.
I know what you mean. Like I got what you mean. But I'm in my head. I'm just trying to place who would be the perfect rivalry, and I think it would probably have to be someone like AJ or Kevin Owens who would be annoyed. Like someone who you would.
Who's this guy? Who's Bobby? Who's Bobby Roode?
Yeah, like
who are you?
Who are you? Yeah, I'm going to take you out. I'm
the U.S. champion. You're no one. You're Bobby Roode, who no one knows who you are.
But yeah, like someone who like them annoyed is funny. So it would be great. Bobby Roode versus Kurt Hawkins.
And then the match, the thing everyone's talking about, DIY versus the Authors of Pain. What a match! What a brutal match. They broke a ladder. They broke a wooden ladder.
Oh, I'm gonna go home and watch this.
So such a hard-hitting, brutal match.
The longest match of the night too.
Longest match of the night. The closer, Authors of Pain won. DIY had their hands up like, we tried. And then the turn came, and they did it. WWE did it so well. The fact that they had the little copyright credit on the thing during the hands up.
Yeah.
And then Ciampa grabs Gargano and throws him into the thing. And the show kept going for 5 minutes. It was beautiful. It was so well done. It was so perfect. It was such a perfect little turn. The crowd chanting, "Fuck you." Yep. It was so good. And I can't wait to see where this goes. We obviously have NXT tomorrow, so I'll be very interested to see what the fallout is of all this.
Yeah.
Because so many of these ended hot. Like so many of these matches ended hot. And where are things going? Like unanswered questions. So I'm very, very excited to watch.
Like
NXT
I said,
tomorrow.
NXT has such a good thing going for it that I almost want it to just be. I want the whole organization to be bumped up, not just people being taken out to be lost in the mix. But I know WWE is like, there's already too much wrestling, and they're right. They're 100% right.
Well, what I love,
but they got to figure something out.
What I love is that NXT, it feels like it's back into the prominence where it was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Because after Bayley left and a couple other people, there was a feeling of like, oh, well, what is NXT now? And even Triple H had kind of done interviews where he's like, I think maybe too many people got called up too quickly. They lost Apollo Crews. They lost so many people so early. And then I feel like we're back. Bobby Roode has been pulling. Asuka's been pulling for years. DIY. So I feel like we're right back where we were 2 years ago with NXT being like a show you need to watch.
Yeah.
So good. And someone mentioned, I forgot to mention for Raw, Goldust, the Goldust angle. It looks like Goldust is going back to classic Goldust. And being like all the Hollywood stuff. He's in a director's chair, which a lot of people are saying this is probably his last run. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to retire soon. And it looks like they're giving him a mega push. A mid-card mega push, but a mega push nonetheless for Goldust, which is great. That guy's been working his ass off forever. Goldust is literally the first match I ever saw was an Owen Hart-Shawn Michaels match. But what got me coming back week after week was Goldust giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
Or no, kissing. He did something to Razor Ramon. He gave mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to Ahmed Johnson. But he did something to Razor Ramon, and that was the big thing. The feud was Razor Ramon and Goldust. I was like, what is this show?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
More. I need more of it. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
We're wrapping this one up, guys. Next week, we're going to do some Q&A. We got some announcements because, guys, we're going to have – it's a big show. And this was a big show. We had to do pay-per-view Fallout. We had to do NXT Fallout. We had to do Raw, SmackDown talk. So it's a big show. No time for Q&A. But we do you have any homework you'd want to throw out there to the folks? Like
no, this year, because this I will say that next week will be end of season 1.
End of season 1
for Ready to Ramble, and after that, but the next week will be season 2. Just because I feel like we've gotten a lot of like end of seasons that are not coming back.
Yeah.
But this end of season 1 of Ready to Ramble is next week. We're coming back season 2 the following week. It's going to be a lot of changes, so I want you to hold on to your butts. No homework. Just be ready for next week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. As always, if he's not funny on Twitter, that black nerd on Instagram. And, you know,
stand-up special next week.
Stand-up special next week. Don't remind me. I got some stuff to tighten up on.
You got this, baby.
No, Ready to
not
Ramble.
rest in peace. Not rest in peace.
Yeah,
We
Ready
will
to
have
Ramble is
season 2.
here to stay. Season 2 is coming up.
We made phone calls. Lots of stuff happening.
Yeah, we're closing the chapter on this book and beginning a new chapter.
New book.
Yeah.
Harry Potter season 2. New book.
Where can people
And
find
for me,
you?
you can find me Twitter, Instagram, all those things at Jurassic Alien, and you can find me here constantly at Hyper RPG doing stuff on the YouTubes, on other shows. So stick around here, guys, and stick around tonight because we got Cineverse, and our the guest tonight is Emma Fife. You're gonna want to stick around for that, guys. It's gonna be a hell of a show. So go watch wrestling, and we'll see you next week.
Yay!